usually just press play whenever I feel the need to do so.
Cool.
So,
I'm happy to kick us off, and then we'll just kind of go around the horn.
yeah,
You got it.
You want to
like
kick
that.
us off? You think
Let him do it.
You think this is your show, pal? Do you see how fast I wrangled a YouTube hangout together, man?
It's pretty fast, lightning fast.
Yeah, I even Googled how to reset my computer because it was black.
Hey, take it easy.
Oh, is that all you got to do? I don't have a reboot anywhere. It's crazy.
I didn't know how to do it. I've never had to do it before in an Air. So
did you say, "Hey Siri, reboot"?
I just started, like you said, I started talking dirty to it. I said, I bet you want Jerick McKinnon as an RB1, don't you? Like that?
Does not compute.
Does not compute. I already pressed live, JP. If you do you want to do this together? Do we say that we're so on three, and we're on three. 1, 2, 3, and he's frozen.
Just let JP
He's
talk.
Frozen. Great.
Oh no.
Oh no. Now I have to do it. Oh shoot. Now I have to oh, there he is.
He's back.
This is terrifying.
If this is foreshadowing of how this night is going to go, this is going to be fantastic.
I know. I thought you guys were all messing with me and just froze up at the same time. Just here with me.
Oh shoot, he froze up.
Then I realized that would take like a lot of coordination.
JP, take it away, my friend.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do it. Welcome to the DTC Open Bar Podcast. How do you guys like how that sounds?
Yeah.
Like that.
How
Like
about-
that.
This is the Open Bar DTC Podcast.
The other way. I like
Open
that.
TC. The Open TC.
The
Open
Open
TC?
Open DC. Open
TC.
Welcome to the DTC Open Bar Podcast. For those of you that are very confused right now, listening to this delayed and not live, we are doing a co-branded show covering all the free agents. It's going to be super exciting. I'm very excited about it. Joining me is all of the hosts. Everybody is a host on this show. We're all even keel. We have the same teats. So we're just gonna go around the horn. I am JP Hurley, FF Man Bun. Why don't you go around the horn and give us all everybody's names so everybody knows who everybody is.
Well, come on. You're supposed to learn everyone's name before the show. You can't just.
I know everybody's
expect
Twitter handles.
Me to know their name. Okay. Welcome to the open bar half of this pod. Are we? Because I went live, JP. Can we do this live? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Like we're live. Okay, great. So this is entirely weird tonight, but it's been lovely so far. I'm already having a blast. If you weren't here a month ago, it's like literally been 1 month. 4 weeks ago, I think. That's how weeks and months work. We were here for Titillated on the open bar. We had the same crew. We had my man Jake, NFL draft talker, formerly known as, or the Jake Anderson FF of sorts. Mm-hmm. My man's J Mike. J Mike check. We need more nicknames for you. We throw all these nicknames around for my rap monikers, but we need.
He needs
more
like sound effects.
Yeah.
Where's the guy from Police Academy? Is he still?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
What is his name?
Michael something.
Michael something.
There's not that many Michaels, so
yeah, we could probably narrow this down pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are awfully lazy. I mean, come on, just figure it
out. And last but certainly not least, I don't know what order we're going in here, but it is Kyle. The franchise, what is it? Franchise. See, JP says he knows the handles. Franchise. AF, KF, NF, KF.
I own the rights to all those, so you can find me at any of those handles.
And the KF stands for kicker flips.
Yep, kicker flips. Keanu fan.
Keanu fan. Wow, that's impressive.
Nice.
Wow.
Really psyched for John Wick 3. Going to be honest.
Well, we know what kind of draft we're doing tonight, I guess. So.
Yeah. Ooh, I think that much is clear. How's everyone doing? How we doing? Mutilated?
Listen, it's Wednesday. The bar's back open. DTC's in the house. The milk is flowing from the cups of the actual scale of the tea. Life is good. I'm excited for this. I'm excited to talk free agents. I'm excited to talk about all the craziness that's happened even today since we closed the bar last night. And wow, I'm ready. Let's do this.
Can I take this opportunity to make a bit of an announcement?
Oh yes.
This
So
is your
you know
pod
how?
too, JP.
Yeah, sure. Okay, that's good. All right, then I will. You know how like there are like staples in the industry that make new innovative like statistical reporting for like players. For instance, Matt Harmon has his reception perception. That's kind of a cool name for a thing. There's like all of these advanced metrics like yards created and stuff like that. I've actually spent years inventing one myself, and it's going to be launched tonight.
Uh-oh.
It's called Throwing Evaluation Accuracy Threat. It spells TEAT. I'm calling it TEAT for short. So I already forgot what I said. Throwing Evaluation Accuracy Test, and it's a specialized statistic for quarterbacks called TEAT. So look for that to drop. Look for that to drop.
I heard Nick Foles' teat rating is not very good.
I have 88 million reasons to think otherwise, Jacob.
Oh man, that guy got paid.
That's
probably isn't that a great segue? Should we just kick it off then?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Without further ado, let's
Talk
just
to
start
you.
with quarterbacks because that was a beautiful segue, and we'll start with Nick Foles. Nick Foles, $88 million, Jacksonville Jaguars, the quarterback of the future Jacksonville Jaguars. So, what does everybody think about this?
Well, J. Mike.
Yeah, let's let the Jaguar fans discuss this first.
As the resident Jaguars fans, Soft J, right? Jaguar, is that okay?
Jaguars.
Jaguars.
The Yags.
The Yagis.
The good news is
Oh, Yags. Oh, Yags.
oh Yags. The good news is we do finally have, and by we, Jaguars fans, we do have a competent quarterback actually taking snaps for the first time since ?
Blake Board. Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah, it is probably Mark Brunell, right?
I mean, the Garrard days were okay. Garrard,
yeah.
that was life after Leftwich.
I believed in Leftwich for a little bit.
I like Leftwich too.
Yeah, so that's the good news. That's the good news. The rather frustrating news is it a case? What Nick Foles are we getting? Are we getting the Nick Foles who was really good for the Eagles for a lot of the time there and pretty competent and played well above anything he had showed us before? Or are we getting Yef Fisher Nick Foles? And that was not a fun experience. I'm not here for that. Gabe, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's certainly plausible to think about where he's been, and that correlates to his success, whether it was Fisher or with the why am I forgetting homie's name that the coach for the Eagles,
Doug
Peterson. Yeah, geez. I don't know if it's necessarily that, but also just a combination of his inconsistency just in general. Like, that's just kind of the quarterback that he is, and what really the biggest question mark is for me. And I don't know, I'm not that excited. I just think it's a move with cap. Like they had to move on from Bortles. Like, you got to understand that this is a business at the same time. Like, if you keep putting Bortles out there, like, you're going to lose revenue, you're going to lose fans. You have to do something to keep this franchise going, and Foles was the best option out there, and they had the dough to do it. And that's unfortunately how this works until something else happens. That's how I feel. I don't think it's the answer.
I'm wondering, like Kyle and Jake specifically, do you guys feel like this is definitely, like, it sounds like J. Mike believes it is, but do you think it's an upgrade from Bortles necessarily?
I mean, anybody probably would have been an upgrade from Bortles, but
What about like me?
I have legitimate concerns. Oh, big time. Big time. Much better teats. But
That's one high heat rating.
I am not a Foles fan by any means. I guess if you're looking for some good things to think about or feel or say, you could talk yourself into a story about John DeFilippo being there, and he was definitely in the background of that Super Bowl run with Nick Foles. But can he put it together for 16 games? I think that's a big question mark. The Eagles had a very good offensive line during that Super Bowl run as well, so I think that played a part. So, DeFilippo had, some ups and downs in Minnesota. Obviously, things did not work out well for him there. But he does have history with Foles, so maybe he can maximize his capabilities. But I don't know. I just feel like these bridge type of quarterbacks are just not the way to go. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of time. And I think, the Cleveland Browns were a great example of how to tank and how you should do it. If you're going to rebuild, just go all in and rebuild and gain some more draft picks and some stability there rather than, pumping all this money to a mediocre quarterback that's just going to put you in purgatory for the next few years.
He was definitely supposed to be a bridge quarterback, but that's turning out to be something different.
Well, can before you go, Kyle, real quick though, can I slide this in? I think the good news with Nick Foles. That doesn't sound creepy. Wow. I think what's messed up about this is it's going to be in the hands of Mosier, who's really good at the whole editing thing. I'm nervous. Okay. Watching my words. So when it comes to Nick Foles, though, the good news is this. Like you were saying, Jake, with DeFilippo now being in Jacksonville, right?
Yeah.
Right. So the good news is you've got someone who trusts him, at least you'd think to some degree, and all of those guys or many of those guys in Jacksonville are really stinking fast, right? So you've got the ability to ideally leverage big plays in this offense with a coordinator that trusts you, with a quarterback that's competent, and with receivers that can fly. So, at least I think the upside is there. I'm hopeful as a fan, maybe, but I'm hopeful. Go ahead, Kyle. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I think it's better for the pass catchers than I don't think that he's going to really move the needle too much as far as, having a big fantasy impact. But I do think it's a potential big upgrade for the receivers. And I agree with you. I think one thing I like about them too is they have already some pieces in place where they have some speed at receiver. And if I'm them, I'm going to look at, even look at the college game, and I'm going to look at the way that Ohio State used Dwayne Haskins this past year and how they deployed all the speed that we recently have seen at the combine. And I'm going to, maybe draw up some similar plays like that just to have him be a bit of a point guard at times and just distribute the ball and, hope that the run game comes back. So I think probably a little bit better, but agree with a lot of the thoughts also that I wouldn't be excited to pay him that kind of money if I were running it.
Yeah, it's amazing what a creative offensive coordinator can do for quarterbacks and being deceptive and defenses not knowing what's coming at them. I think that can go a really long way. It's just a matter of can they get that out of Foles? Can they make that offensive line work? I think that's what I keep going back to is that offensive line has a ways to go before you can feel comfortable with Foles back there.
Now, you guys, this was kind of hot news today, and if Mosier does edit this, I hope he throws in like the hot news soundbite. I might actually. Do you guys have like a soundboard that we can do like sweet sound bites?
If only.
From the open bar? The opening bar?
Look, we run a rather modest bootleg mom and pop operation. I don't know what kind of budget you're
working. When you said we were supposed to be going on at 9:30 Eastern, and then I shared the link at like 9:44.
Oh, we're here.
We are. Yeah.
So the hot news of the day was Teddy Bridgewater, Miami Dolphins. So the Dolphins finally get their name in the hat for a quarterback, which they needed because all they have is Ryan Tannehill, right? How does everybody feel about Teddy Bridgewater revitalizing his career in Miami, taking his talents to South Beach? He didn't have as big of a press conference as LeBron, though, did he?
No, not quite.
Has it officially happened yet?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, I thought he was visiting.
Just meet.
I got I'm looking. I've got Twitter pulled open here, and I'm looking at Adam Schefter. And Adam Schefter says it's yes.
Really?
I can tell you exactly what it says. Adam. How do you spell Adam?
T-E-A-T. Adam.
All right, Adam. Jags released Bortles, which is kind of funny, but not for him.
Is this exactly what Adam said?
Exactly.
Wow. Feel bad for you and his lawyer coming to you.
That's pretty funny.
All right, Adam says it's just a visit. And I'm going to pull up Ian here because Ian, don't let me down.
Yeah, he hasn't done that recently.
Don't let me down.
Shefty kind of throws some shade every once in a while, just like some subtle stuff in his reports sometimes. It's pretty great.
I think.
So maybe we can just speculate. Let's speculate on it because he's the last like really big quarterback.
Maybe we
news
could break
the
news. Let's just break the news ourselves.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Coming at you live, the Open TC is letting you know that Teddy Bridgewater has met with the Miami Dolphins in Miami. Possibly. Could it have been a Google Hangout and they have their own little open bar? Yeah, entirely possible. But what we know is, JP, you take it from here, pal.
Breaking news. Teddy Bridgewater speculated to the Miami Dolphins today. I just can't do it. Speculation. I mean, really, like, who's left, right? That's it. It's just Teddy. So we're going to break it. This is live on the DTC Open Bar podcast. Teddy Bridgewater signs tender with the Miami Dolphins. He is taking $88 million over the course of 4 years. It's a pretty good payday for Teddy, you guys. What do you think?
Hey, listen, the best news, the best part of all of this, and Kyle, this dips all up into your world, going back to college, reunited with Devontae Parker. Reunited, and it feels so good. Let's go. I'm here for it.
I tell you what, Teddy Teats, man. Teddy
Two Teats.
That's the Teddy Two
Teddy.
Yeah, Teddy Two Teats from college. Yeah,
Teddy Two Teats.
Very accurate in college. One of the most accurate QBs in history. The man Teats. I tell you what.
He was very inaccurate unless he had his teats on. I think during the combine, right?
That was pro day.
Indeed.
Pro day. Thank you.
Indeed.
Thank you, Jake. So that you guys, we could probably wrap up the quarterback talk right there with our speculative Teddy news. We already covered footlong Foles. We should choose another position to go through here. Let's do something more fun. Let's do the running backs. So should we start with Jake Anderson here? Jake, let me. Breaking news.
God.
Today, Mark Ingram signs with the Baltimore Ravens. Jake, what does this mean to you? How do you feel about this?
I think you have to be excited. I mean, I think he's going to be the workhorse in that backfield. I think this is about as good of a situation he could have fell in. We saw what Gus the Bus, the least impressive running back I've ever watched on film, did last year. So
less than Jonas Gray. Wow.
Basically, if you can get somebody that can be an interior running in that offensive scheme with Lamar Jackson at the helm, I think that opens up a lot. You know, it's like an Alfred Morris, RG3 type of situation, but Mark Ingram's a better running back than Alfred Morris. So I think that puts him in that, you know, kind of higher end mid RB2 range, and you should be pretty excited about it.
All right, I'm going to ask, let's see, FF Man Bun. See, I know your Twitter handle. You like that?
Uh-huh. That's Mr. Bun to you, pal.
What is this? So obviously we're dismissing Gus because he's the worst running back we've ever seen. And we're just going to take that as a collective point of view. We're going to adopt it. Doesn't matter what we think.
Jake nailed it.
So obviously Alex Collins is pretty much done. Do you see name? Alex Collins?
No. Dick.
There it is.
Finish it.
There it is. I'm not going to finish it.
That's what she said.
I like to talk about the gap, which is kind of a coincidence. We're talking about that already. I like to talk about the gap that is left when a running back or a wide receiver leaves a team. So Alvin Kamara, specifically, what do you feel like this means to Alvin Kamara now not having Mark Ingram specific? Because I think that they got Latavius, which is kind of a little bit of an afterthought relative to Mark Ingram. But what does this mean to like Alvin Kamara owners? Should you be celebrating?
You should always be celebrating as Alvin Kamara.
Yeah. Mark Ingram is significant. Well, I don't know. I think he's better than Latavius. And it's not exactly a lateral move for the Saints there. And for Kamara to be a top 5 guy with Ingram there, whatever the suspension thing happening. But still, like, my God, that's, amazing news. Kamara.
Hell yeah. That's probably
No, I think also it's that was a place that I had circled as a potential good spot for a rookie running back to land, and it may still be, but they also, I feel like if I remember correctly, they don't have a ton of draft picks this year, so maybe it made a bit more sense to just kind of grab another seasoned veteran and not go with a rookie running back, or maybe just go really late with a pick, but. Yeah, I think as I have Kamara, and I don't have a ton of dynasty leagues, but I have him in all of mine, and so I'm pretty happy.
Hey, Mike.
I was just gonna say, I think it's a nice little bump for Latavius too, just for he's gonna get some touches, he's gonna see the field. Obviously, if Kamara has injury issues, that's a hell of a place to be. So I think that's a nice spot if you have Latavius on your bench, just like a nice little value bump. I mean, you might want to look at selling him, but you might just want to hold because your return on, that purchase, it probably won't get you much right now, but it's not even really a handcuff. I think he could be, a RB3 for the season and kind of be a fill-in, plug and play every once in a while.
Yeah, I agree with that. And are you guys collectively selling Ingram after this news, or are you going to hold on to him for the season? What are you doing if you're owning shares?
Oh no!
Well, if he's perceived as the running back 1, but he's actually the running back 2 behind Kenneth Dixon to God, I mean, it seems pretty clear as day to sell the man.
Unreal, yeah, unreal.
I just don't. Okay,
for real. I don't like. I would genuinely be worried that he is on the Ravens because of what happened with Lamar Jackson once he took over. So for me, I think Ingram is a good running back, but I think he had a great role as, a side piece to Kamara, and to be able to take off of that load that I don't think he can quite handle it at this age. So maybe he'll be around the same touches anyways, since Jackson and that offense will just not really allow him to have so many touches. But for me, I'd probably sell off of that news if he is being perceived as something that is going to be a thing, because I don't think it's going to be as great as some might think.
Yeah, I agree. I'm selling. I would take any first, and I would take even an extremely high second if I'm in a smaller league.
Hey, let me jump in. Last thing here. I'm probably a buy on Ingram. I actually like the situation and the way that they're structured with Lamar. I actually think that probably helps his value. And the other thing that I like about him too, because he was kind of in that complementary role, I believe he's played 8 seasons, but he has less than 1,600 total touches. I think I read that on DLF today in an article that someone did there. So shout out for whoever did that. I hope you really did your research. Considering that workload, and then they kind of juxtaposed it against Barkley had 350 touches last year. So if you're looking at that's, almost we're nearly double the touches of what Ingram has averaged, throughout his career. So even though he's a bit older, maybe not as much mileage. So I'm in on Ingram. I like it a lot. That was one of my prime rookie landing spots that I was really hoping they were going to invest some money there. But I think Ingram, he'd be a buy for me.
He feels like a one-season guy, though. He turns 30 in December, and then he might be productive after his 30-year-old season. But I feel like dynasty owners will be scared off of buying him at any point beyond the season.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And for context, for me, the league where I was kind of putting out a feeler for him today, I'm a really strong contender. I think I took second last year with the most points. So I have a really good team returning, but I'd love to have him as a regular flex. And I also own all the other Ravens running backs. I thought I had the market cornered on them, but then Collins and now this. So here we are.
Yeah, I think it definitely depends if you're contending or rebuilding.
Yeah.
You're rebuilding. He's you get a nice bump in value. But do you guys think it's better to sell right now, or do you think it's better to wait? Because a lot of times in the offseason, you want to hold these veterans until the season starts, until people actually care about scoring points. Think about that.
I'd sell now, man. I think ride the spike right now, ride the wave. He'll have another one during the season, so you won't miss your window, but sell him before you get Dez'd.
They could draft a running back too, and I don't know, the Ravens just with running backs, like how can you trust anything? I'd be wanting to get it off my hands now.
I was just thinking, like, the 2020 class is projected to be much better than the 2019 class. So if you can get a random 2020 first rather than, what's going to be a late 2019 first this year, if you can get a random 2020 first at the beginning of the season, you never know what that 2020 first is going to wind up being. And in a better class, I think it might be maybe a better gamble just to hold on.
I agree.
I feel like there's so many layers to Mark Ingram, and I don't want to belabor it, but I do want to put my 2 cents in real quick. As I continue to try to develop my own strategies and whatnot for Dynasty as a newer player, one of the things that I'm thinking about or have been tossing around a lot this offseason is that if I'm giving up a future first or a first of any kind, I don't think that I necessarily want to give up a first for descending assets. Or declining assets, however the better way to say that is. So I'm excited about Mark Ingram in Baltimore, but I'm not sure that I'd pay the first to get him like you guys probably would be asking for. So I think if I can get him for like a mid-second, I'd be thrilled, like through the roof. Now, if somebody's selling that for that, then, maybe not. But to your point, Kyle, I was on Pro Football Reference, and it does look like that is correct regarding Mark Ingram. So he does have less than 1,600 touches on the career, like 1,321 rushes and 228 receptions. That said, when you look at his box score, if you will, he's never played 16 games. He's played in 16 games once, and that was in 2016 when he was awesome. Other than that, it's been a lot of, like, in terms of games started or just usage in general, it's kind of been all over the place. And even last year, he had the least amount of receptions last year than he did since 2013. Back when, like, we all thought that he was hated by Sean Payton. So, he only had 21 receptions.
Yeah, Alvin Kamara will do that to you, though.
Yeah, exactly. But even last season, though, it's funny you said that, and maybe it's just a fact of him missing those games. Last season, he had 71 targets. And
2 seasons ago.
I'm sorry, yes, 2017. 2017, he had 71 targets for 58 receptions.
Wow, last season 58 receptions 2 years ago.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Oh, I mean, Kamara got off to a really slow start though that year too.
You're 100% correct.
They worked him in pretty slowly.
Yes, you're 100% correct because Adrian Peterson was still there, right? And we didn't necessarily know what we had in that backfield. I'm just thinking I'm excited for what could be with Mark Ingram, especially if he's going to be getting full-time work. If he holds up, I think it's fantastic. I'm not paying the late first. If I can get him for mid-second, I'm thrilled about it.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, Gabe, did you hear that?
I stopped listening after y'all started slandering Kenneth Dixon.
All right, this is for Gabe. Yeah. That wasn't as good. That wasn't as good as I thought it would be.
No, that was pretty good, I thought.
Was it pretty good?
Yeah.
Breaking news for Gabe. Tevin Coleman signs with the 49ers. Thousands of Jerick McKinnon truthers are now shower crying.
That's not true.
This news, Tevin Coleman truthers and Jerick McKinnon truthers will fight it out. I saw this tweet. Somebody tweeted that out. Who's going to win that fight, Coleman or McKinnon truthers? Obviously Coleman. He's got his guy. What do you think about this, man?
I smell an open bar bet.
J-Mike, didn't we talked about this like happening? Didn't we?
Yes, we did.
I don't know if it was on our podcast or if I was on another podcast. I don't remember. But I know we were talking about if and when like Tevin Coleman was going to be a 49er, and then we just would have to. It wouldn't be deciding like who you'd want between McKinnon and Coleman, and be like who you would want to start versus one or the other because they end up on the same team. Yeah, that's stressful. I've already seen that McKinnon. I want to clear this up. Like, I've seen the report, not a report even. I don't know if it's just fantasy football analysts talking out their ass. I'm not sure, but oh shoot, this is a DTC pod.
You're good. You're all good. Ass is good. I love hearing that.
Yeah.
Ass and titties.
Ass and teats, yeah. Ass and titties, yep.
I like when you blow smoke and say that at the same time, Jake. And speaking of blowing smoke, is Jerick McKinnon a cut candidate? Because I didn't really understand that at all. Like, is that realistic? Because I don't know. Will you answer that first before anything else is discussed?
Yes.
Why?
I think he's got a 2019 out. Who knows if he's fully healthy?
I mean, it's an ACL. Like, everyone's been stung by a bee pretty much.
Has anyone come back and just
JP
destroyed
scratching his
everything?
head. He's like,
I'm pulling open Jerick McKinnon's contract. By the way, have you guys ever been confused if it's Spotrac or Spotrac?
Yes.
yeah, we've been talking about that for a long time.
I had them. I'm just gonna keep saying Spotrac because whatever. I'm stuck in my ways. I'm 40. But like the owner of the company, the website, weighed in for us and confirmed that it was Spotrac. Spa.
Spotrac.
Spotrac.
Yeah.
It's not even an A.
I know, right?
He has 2019 potential out,
$6 million.
$6 million cap hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
See, that's what I was thinking. I don't get it.
I mean, that's half of his whole salary this year, isn't it? So
they pay, and what was it? I was just reading someone saying it was like 5.75 to keep him.
5.7, I think.
Cap hit. Yep.
To keep him in.
Workout bonus too. So
essentially,
5.75, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're gonna take $250,000 to drop a running back when they haven't even like dropped running backs all year last year. I think they dropped like McNichols, but they kept everyone else. They had so many weird guys on their roster, and they're gonna drop McKinnon. I don't know. That one didn't really make sense to me. Maybe I'm way off on this, but I would imagine they'd keep him around, and it'll be a nice tandem. I'm not sure even what to think fantasy-wise at this point. I know Shanahan.
You got Matt Breida though too, but
yeah, Matt Breida spent all of 2018 on one leg. We didn't see Jerick McKinnon out there on one leg doing anything.
I think he needs a season off, to be honest with you.
He needs the Le'Veon Bell season.
He needs to catch up on that healing time. Like, we're just like, dude, let him heal for once. Like, he would go. It would be like series by series basis of him like breaking a leg and then coming back on and playing the next series. So
poor guy.
I think the biggest thing is who's going to be the pass catcher, because that's what they both do well. And that's how Kyle Shanahan can get them involved in space. They're both space players. I don't really like either of them between the tackles, so maybe Breida gets some of that role. But I think whoever's going to catch 60, 70 balls, or maybe they split it. I don't know. But if there's a designated pass catcher in that offense, that's the guy that I want. I just don't know who that is. I think I'd maybe lean Tevin, but I don't know. I honestly have no idea.
Hey, let me ask you guys a question. I made this trade in the Superflex League probably a few weeks ago. I got rid of Phillip Rivers and I acquired Tevin Coleman. I think it was just straight up. There may have been another piece that I got as well. And so for context on that, I mean, my quarterback room is Mahomes, Kyler, Lamar, Trubisky, Mariota. So I mean, I'm pretty stacked. So
could you give up for what was that? What
Phillip Rivers for Tevin Coleman?
So I think Phillip Rivers is probably worth maybe a late first in Superflex, and Tevin's worth probably a mid to late first. So I like the Tevin side there, especially since you have quarterbacks.
How many teams?
Okay. I think there's 12.
Okay, yeah,
This is the league. I have a good team in that league. That's the one that I took second last year, and so I just wasn't sure. Like, okay, I don't like giving up quarterbacks. I'd rather them sit on my bench in a lot of ways than someone else be able to use them, and they have to roll out. Bueller out there. So
I like that. Let me and to that point, like you were saying, Kyle. If you're loaded like that, especially being able to bring on a guy with as much upside as Coleman has, which I don't know if this is one of those weird things, but and I'll shout out to FF Statistics because I was leveraging their website the other night.
Statistics,
right? with Tevin Coleman, even as not fun of a season as he had last year, I still think that he had his highest fantasy finish of his career, RB18 in PPR leagues. So
yeah, Freeman was out the whole year.
Right, and it was on a media. I mean, obviously, it would have been great if he would have shown better, but it was a mediocre season for him. But he still finished as a top 24 RB. So, even with that said, and I'm so excited to be able to do this right now, JP, leveraging the Dynasty Trade Calculator.
Wait,
in a 12.
Gabe, can we get like a jingle for the calculator too?
Just the calculator.
You're gonna come up with that one too.
Added to the queue. Jerick McKinnon, 12-team PPR, Superflex, tight end premium, which obviously that doesn't matter. Jerick McKinnon is at a 3.2 right now. And Tevin Coleman's currently at a 9.5. So I know that you guys probably haven't calibrated from the signings and whatnot. A lot of stuff going on. I'm just curious. Who would you guys, like you said, if you have to push your chips in on one of them, who are you pushing your chips in on?
Hold on, I gotta do this calculator really quick.
Well, the calculator says Tevin Coleman, so I'm gonna go with the calculator.
This is gonna take a little bit.
I take 3 Jerick McKinnons before Tevin Coleman.
There we go.
For me, it's Coleman. I'm in on Coleman.
Yeah. I'm in a Coleman. Did you have like an old school like Texas Instruments calculator you're using? That's not the Dynasty. It didn't sound like our Dynasty.
Well, I was curious. I was like, what does a calculator sound like? So I googled
already.
That's what came up.
Y'all ready?
Y'all ready?
Only question is what kind of games you got on that? What kind of games you got on that calculator? That's the question.
I know how to spell boobs on a calculator.
I was just gonna say my calculator came back with boobless, so I don't know.
Boobless. That's a good one.
Know with the graphic calculators, you can actually just type the letters now. You don't have to do the whole cute number thing.
I'm not ready for all that.
More fun to do the number thing. Yeah, to answer your question, Coleman, hands down. I won't even provide an explanation because I hate McKinnon. I'm a Vikings fan. I got to watch him up close and personal for way too long.
I am pleading the fifth on this question.
Which one is that? Is that the right to bear arms?
This is
I like that.
I would probably say Coleman.
There you go.
It makes sense.
You guys, is that a good spot to stop for the Tevin Coleman news?
Yes, that's plenty.
This is breaking news. You have a phone call. Please respond.
I'm going to try it.
When sound effects go wrong.
I thought that was going to be a lot funnier.
Okay, yeah, we had this one. Yeah, this is good. Feels good. Le'Veon Bell gets picked up by the New York Jets. Gang Green gets their running back. What do you guys think about Le'Veon Bell to the New York Jets?
I'm here for this conversation. I'm excited. Let's do this.
J. Mike, kick us off, man.
J. Mike, before you start, we were so close to getting that news last night. We were 30 minutes away. What in the world? We stayed up so late for Lev.
Here's what I'm here for. I'm here for Le'Veon Bell as one of the most complete backs that we've seen in the history of this game, as someone who's been ultra productive, and as someone who, if you bought him sometime last season, you're probably very happy at the fact that you paid a lot less than what he's probably worth now, I would imagine. all that being said, I'm scared to death of Lev in New York just because, and it's just because of Adam Gase. We watched Adam Gase butcher a fantastic. I mean, just the RB situation in Miami for what 2-3 seasons was abhorrent. Can we agree on that?
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Okay. Is Le'Veon Bell good enough to transcend Adam Gase's malfeasance? I think so. Lev Bell's great. Is he going to be back to top 5 Lev Bell? I think that's a fun discussion to have. Is he a guy who we see being back in the elite of the elites at age, 26, 27 now?
That sounds right.
Because it's crowded at the top. It is crowded at the top.
That's my problem. Is the top 5 is just so loaded. I would say more comfortable in like the 6 to 12 range, back half RB1, just on volume alone. And then, I hope they utilize him correctly in the pass game. I think that's obviously his trump card.
He's 27, by the way, just turned 27 in February. So that's kind of weird.
Have we listened to the album yet?
Yeah.
I got this money to make. You get some breaks. I get this bread and I tuck it away. I'm headed to the bank. She wanna
the open bar.
She gotta settle for balance. I told her give me brain.
We're about to mix it up with a Dynasty T calculator. Calculator.
Oh man, too much auto tune.
Please stop. Oh my God.
Shut it down. Shut it down. I've heard enough.
Oh gosh.
Come on.
Yeah, I think that was foreshadowing for me. I don't really like his rap game. I don't like him in New York. I just don't. No thanks for me. Too bad.
Le'Veon.
I'd rather have Coleman plus whatever else makes it work. I want Coleman plus whatever, and then, and I can't tell you what whatever means, but whatever makes sense to get rid of Bell.
Yeah. Wow.
Coleman in the chat. Cody hits us with Cody Kutzer. What's up, Cody? The thing with Lev is we've never seen him run behind a not great offensive line.
I think valid. Also. Yeah, no, I think that's a great point. That's something I was thinking about earlier too. Like, not only not great, but just one that can accommodate his running style. I mean, he's such a unique runner, and so we're going to find out really quickly, did he do that as a result of his offensive line, or was there a level of cohesion? I mean, I think in order for it to really work well, he needs a lot of reps behind them. And so, again, you're talking about a guy that at 27, you're normally not going to be repping your guy a ton in practice, but he may need it. So I just think there's enough things that concern me, kind of a polarizing guy off the field. We just heard his rap record. And so I think that, I just would question, he just took a year off. How motivated is he? It just too many questions, not enough answers for me personally.
So real quick, 2 things. The listener is absolutely right. And Kyle hit the nail on the head. He's a very patient runner. I think that's one of the unique things about him. He gets a lot of recognition for being how patient he is. And maybe if you've got a offensive line that's leaking like a sieve, patience could be a bad thing, but it's yet to be seen. On the other side of it, Kyle hit it at the very end there. The year off, a lot of people are viewing that as a positive, and I'm a pessimistic person, so I view it as kind of a negative. Like, I've seen people take a lot of time off, come back, and they're more prone to injury because they're just not back in football shape. I'd be concerned with that amount of time he spent away from the game. And then tearing an Achilles. Isn't that what Dez did, like the very first practice that he got back after being gone for like 8 months?
So gaining like 40 pounds this offseason wasn't a good thing?
Yeah. Has anybody seen his conditioning? Because that's the other concern. Usually like when people are trying to get back and they're building a campaign around themselves to get a big contract, they're, they usually see workout videos and stuff. I just haven't seen anything. It's gone radio silent.
All I've heard is rap videos and seen them.
Gotta get paid. Gotta get my teeth.
Conditioning this rap album.
Rap music.
According to the March ADP on DLF, Lev Bell's currently going as running back number 12. That is
like late
behind, second. Yeah, so that looks like it's 23 overall area. Let me ask you guys this: Would you rather have Lev Bell or Kerryon Johnson?
Carry on.
Yeah, I think dynasty makes a big difference with Lev Bell. Like, I think he's a guy that you're probably going to take your shots on in redraft if you can get him in the second or third round. But I mean, dynasty, and I'm a guy that's not afraid to take like a Julio Jones in the second round. But I don't know. I think with everything that Kyle said, with the aging running back that was just so ready to get paid, with the question marks with that offense. I mean, I don't think I'd be paying that price tag in a dynasty startup.
Yeah, it's an interesting question posed with Kerryon too, because I feel like this offseason opened up more questions with him too, just where their staff kind of came out and said, no, we really want to have a balanced approach where I don't like bell cow. I mean, all the things we don't want to hear as fantasy owners. So yeah, really interesting question. I'm not sure what I would do with that one. I wasn't ready for that.
Okay, you guys, we got through all of the running backs, all of the notable running backs. I shouldn't say all of the running backs. There's names like Mike Davis, Latavius Murray. We didn't dive deep into AP.
Mike Davis.
We've got wide receivers and maybe a little bit of tight end news. Do you guys want to do like a lightning round kind of thing where we'll just fly around the horn really quick and I'll name a guy and a player and you guys can weigh in on them?
Do it.
Everybody down for that?
Do it.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm gonna spin the wheel here, spin the bottle, and Gabe gets to go first. Gabe, you ready?
Yeah.
Wide receiver. Should we keep doing the breaking? Are you guys annoyed with the breaking news sound effects
No,
yet?
I love it. Keep doing it, please. Keep doing it.
How about a
Oh, this one's good. These are just such a surprise. Breaking news: Tyrell Williams. Oh, sorry. Okay, stop breaking news. Okay, there we go. Breaking news: Tyrell Williams to the Raiders, also known as Byrell Williams. If you didn't have a chance to buy him in the offseason, you probably missed your chance now. But being paired up with Antonio Brown, what do you feel about Tyrell Williams, Gabe?
I wasn't sure what buy you were using there. For
Byrell Williams.
As in B-Y-E.
Oh, okay,
but,
yeah.
Like that he could be irrelevant. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I think he's a good receiver. I don't think that he will be a top 24 wide receiver this year or the next year. I think he's just going to be a solid ancillary piece for that offense. I think they're going to still address wide receiver in the draft because it's deep. And it sounds like they even like Aitman a little bit. I don't know. Like they literally had no one opposite of Antonio Brown. So I think it was a decent move for the Raiders. But just fantasy wise, I'm not all that interested. And with the whole Byrell thing, like I still think you could Byrell Williams.
Fair enough. Let's move on to the next one. Kyle, I haven't heard your lovely voice for a little while, so we're gonna.
We interrupt what you're watching right now to bring you this exciting story.
Oh.
Your cell phone is actually ringing.
Oh, okay, yeah. It was pretty good up until the cell phone. These are such a wonderful surprise, pleasant delights. Kyle, in the same pocket, Antonio Brown also to the Raiders. I want you to talk about Antonio Brown and what this means for him, but also, like, is this enough ammunition for Derek Carr to actually be good, maybe?
I think that's the big question. Like, is he good? If he is, then I think it answers a lot for Antonio Brown and for, Williams as well. I think some of the concern that I have is if you look at what Cooper did with him, specifically towards the end there, it just wasn't all that impressive. And I personally believe Cooper's a pretty impressive player as well. So I think that it's, again, I've seen it perceived as a big win with him going there. I'm kind of at the point where I think it's a neutral, potentially maybe even leaning towards not as great. So I'm pretty neutral there. I don't think it really did a whole lot, but if I could sell him with like an overzealous owner right now and get a little bit more than, what I perceived he'd be worth, I'd be willing to do that.
Yeah, I agree. What would you be trying to get in return if you are looking to sell him? I know you're unprepared for that question too, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
Where is he right now in terms of valuation? I mean, obviously there probably hasn't been a ton of time for it to get up to speed. I mean,
Second round and
who's
greater than the 101 in value.
Yeah, again, I think it would probably depend on what type of team I had. If I was a contender, sure, keep him on. But if I'm in a bit of a rebuild, I don't know. I might be looking to cash in on quite a few picks. I mean, I know that it wouldn't necessarily be ideal to go just picks on a guy like Antonio Brown. I'd probably want a player and some picks as well. But yeah, I think I'd be willing to sell. I don't know exactly for what. Probably not just something that I have thought enough about and am not well versed enough in terms of like who legitimately is valued around him right now.
Maybe I'll give you more specifics to make it a little bit easier. So like how about Kenny Golladay and a super late first in 2019?
No, I think I'd still probably prefer AB there. I don't know that I don't love Golladay.
I think just to chime in here, I know this is quick fire, but I think AB has already been descending just because the age thing, and I haven't heard much on Twitter like people saying like the Raiders is good for his value. So I would imagine, the combination of a new landing spot, new system, new quarterback, turning 31. I imagine that his stock is actually going to keep going down. And for me, if I'm contending, that's generally how I build my rosters anyways. I think he's a strong, continues to be a strong buy candidate. And I agree with Kyle. I think this landing spot is pretty neutral for as far as his production profile has been. Maybe last year and maybe even dips a little bit, but I just think that he's a descending asset that's going to continue to be going down a little bit.
Yeah, and let me kind of pivot off that, and then I'll move on. I think even skipping past a guy like Williams or AB, I think I'm actually a little bit more interested in a really cheap option in Jordy Nelson in the slot just for a year, as a potential flex play. I think he's proven to be better in the slot than he was outside, and so I think if he's going to be properly deployed there, he's an option for me in terms of another guy like Larry Fitzgerald, where if I'm on a contender and I really want to kind of beef up in my flex positions, I might look to Jordy or Fitz.
Yeah, you can get Jordy for probably a mid-third, if not later.
Or off the waiver wire.
Yeah. He's like a wire guy.
Hey, if I'm wrong on that, let's just agree to edit that out in like a year or something like that, because I could really sound like an idiot, and I'm fully prepared for it.
That's what we always do anyway. So yeah, we got edit everything out that doesn't make sense. A year from now, we just go back and because we got nothing better to do,
All right, takes are perfect. How do they do it?
Why do I have no podcast history?
I deleted. J. Mike, you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. Oh, it's like some James Bond breaking news.
No, that's Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible. Breaking news, Tom Cruise to the Bills. The Bills are just picking up everybody right now. Mike, for real, though, the breaking news is you get a pretty good one here. Odell Beckham Jr. to the Cleveland Browns. Wild news. There's a lot of implications around this. We might actually have to slow down the lightning round a little bit. So, J. Mike, give us your take, and then we're going to have a bunch of follow-up questions. So, what does this mean for Odell Beckham in Cleveland?
I'm just kidding.
Wow.
I just wanted to use the sound effect app too. No, I'm excited for it. And I don't even know what the saying is. Rising tide raises all boats or whatever. Odell coming. I haven't heard that one. Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Two birds, one stone. I think is what you're thinking of.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what you're thinking of.
That's what it was.
You know what? That's exactly what I was going for.
2 teeth, 1 bra.
2 teeth, no targets. So I'm excited about OBJ in Cleveland. I'm excited for just the prospect of that offense being fantastic. We touched on it last night on the open bar, but just the fact that if Odell can put together a season where he's going to be healthy, and I know that Gabe's been one of the biggest supporters of OBJ in terms of the player and how fantastic he is and how he is WR1 in Dynasty to many. he's someone who can open up that offense. It allows Jarvis to be in the slot, which is where he does most of his damage. It allows everybody in that offense to be better. You can't necessarily just stack the box on Chubb. You can't necessarily focus on anybody but a game breaker like him. And giving Baker Mayfield a weapon as absolutely disgusting as OBJ, and pairing that with Todd Monken, who I feel like a lot of people were really excited about early on last season as a play caller before Cutter kept cutting him off, and as well as Freddie Kitchens. Like, this is wildly exciting. Like, we're on the precipice of what could be a really fun offense for fantasy, and that just, those prospects are exciting. So I'm all about it.
A fun offense for fantasy and kind of a fun team for Cleveland Browns fans. Finally, they were 7-8-1 last year, and I think they lost 5 games by 3 or less points. And now they've got some additions this year, so it's kind of a weird excitement for Cleveland, not just in fantasy but in football in general. So that's pretty wild. Now, J. Mike, you touched briefly on Jarvis Landry, and I want to ask the group, anybody that wants to chime in. A lot of people are positive with what this could mean to Jarvis Landry, but how do you feel as a Jarvis Landry owner on your team? Like, is this something that you feel like is good news, or are you more pessimistic about it?
I'm kind of with J. Mike, rising tide rises all ships there, or, 2 birds, 1 stone, whatever. They're all the same analogies. But
bird on the ship.
I think it all depends on how it affects their values in the community. I don't think we know yet. I mean, my first reaction is, Jarvis Landry's value is going to go down. That means he's going to be actually a buy. Same thing with Njoku, and so I think it all depends on how the market shifts. If Landry's stock is actually going up, that's probably a good selling opportunity, and if it's going down, it's a nice buying opportunity.
Yeah, so another side of it opened up to the group here. This is really big implications for Baker Mayfield, especially in Superflex leagues. Can anybody weigh in on what this means to Baker and like how high is high for him this season?
I was on it last night. Like, I want to pay everything for him. I don't even care.
Put it all on black.
If he's the number 2 quarterback, that means that there's one spot above that to where he can, reach his potential. And Mahomes will move down and Baker will move up. So, maybe not everyone has him as QB2 right now, or maybe things need to cool off a bit. But man.
I've heard he's going in the first round of Superflex startups right now. So for me, Baker Mayfield was a sell before this trade, and as excited I am about this offense, I thought, Baker and Patrick Mahomes were like the biggest sells of the offseason, just because I'm not going to pay that premium in a dynasty startup for Superflex. Quarterback is so incredibly deep. You can get such good productive, and yes, I understand there's a difference between the top 5 quarterback and then the rest, but the difference in production that you can get from a Matthew Stafford or any quarterback, that's in the early 20s or late teens compared to Baker, and that offense will be good, but I don't know. I just don't think he's ever going to live up to that billing as far as how expensive he is. So for me, he was a sell before this, and now he's, as much as I'm excited about his prospects, like just from a value perspective, he's a sell for me.
But the thing is right there, Jake, is like you even are somehow considering it even a little bit just because of that. That OBJ ad, man. Like what he does to an offense, like, is just absolutely nuts. I mean, I'd rather tried to put Eli in a QB1 conversation for years, and now for a guy that we actually like, I mean. But I'm with you. I get it.
I'm just a guy that's not going to pay that premium in a Superflex league personally. So, I just think it's a nice opportunity to get out, and especially 1 quarterback leagues. Baker's going to be the quarterback 2, and it's just I think he's probably going to be, lower end, middle quarterback 1. I mean, I think that might be his ceiling, which is great. But I wouldn't pay that price for him. That's all.
Just going to throw it out there. Ryan McDowell has him as QB2 in his ranking.
Well, everybody does. I mean, I think that's why he's a sell for me.
I don't think I'd feel comfortable putting him that high just yet, but Well, we'll wait to see when the hype dies down if people still feel that way. But
I don't think it's going to die down.
Man.
I really don't. He was quarterback 4 or 5 before this deal. I mean, he's going to be quarterback 2. He's going to be quarterback 2.
Two things I want to say, and they're not super on. They're on topic, but not really. I so wish that we could do Hard Knocks again, if they could run it back and do Cleveland again this year. I mean, how fun would it be to see, some more of those?
It'd be just dancing the whole time.
Yes, right.
Just
and then
Fortnite dances.
Yeah. I tweeted last night. I was like, the league is not ready for this much swag. It's just not. It's not ready for it.
Oh man.
Something else I noticed. I generally dislike Twitter this time of year, but yesterday was just awesome. I feel like that fantasy players, football fans in general, like casual, deep alike, like I feel like people can rally around the Browns. Like I just really do. I really feel like they're just exciting to, if you're kind of just a neutral third party, or like me, I don't have like a really strong team allegiance. Like I'm like, well, I'll watch the Browns. So this just kind of adds more fuel to the fire for me to want to do that. And then also I think it's really fun to just crap on the Giants, because they seem just like an absolutely terrible organization. They're just, I don't know what kind of decisions they're making. Just what a butthead.
Is anybody at all concerned with like just the mishmash of personalities that are now in Cleveland though? So like Baker Mayfield's kind of a little bit of a loose cannon. Odell Beckham Jr. is definitely a loose cannon. And like with Josh Gordon's history, he's shown that maybe Cleveland's not the most structured place to be. Like, is anybody else concerned that there could be like some problems off the field transpiring, especially with the addition of Kareem Hunt?
I think if things go well, which they, all intent purposes, they should go well with this amount of talent, especially with that defense even being rebuilt and retooled and constructed. As long as things don't turn into a dumpster fire, I am not worried at all. Like,
okay.
And I think Baker's that good of a leader that he knows how to take these personalities. Not that he's dealt with this bigger personalities before, but I just think he's that kind of guy that can deal with this kind of situation and actually make it better and gel and work. I think it's a little bit overblown. I think they all care about winning, and I think that's something that teams should just really encourage to have on their team.
Yeah.
Jarvis, OBJ, and Baker especially, like, as far as winning and wanting to win, like, they don't even necessarily have off-field concerns so much.
No.
Maybe with the Kareem Hunt thing, I think that's maybe something that is certainly warranted. But, man, those guys really, really are passionate about the game. I mean, you saw Jarvis Landry's speech on Hard Knocks. Come on.
Bless him. Bless him.
Bless.
That's pretty good for the lightning round, you guys. There's a couple of honorable mentions. If there's anybody that feels passionate enough about mentioning some of these guys or having a take on them, I'm just going to list them off, and then feel free to jump in. And then, Gabe, should we finish things off with a Keanu Reeves movie draft? Is that what we're doing?
Yes. We might. Let's go. Can we go 2 rounds on that?
Yes.
We could go. No. Yeah, we can go as many rounds as you like. Actually,
that's true.
Let's go 30 rounds.
All right.
Okay, so anybody, feel free to chime in. I'm just going to list these off really fast and then throw in your takes if you feel necessary. John Brown to the Bills. Jamison Crowder also moves. I think Jamison Crowder went to the Jets, right?
Yeah.
Mike Davis to the Bears. Latavius Murray to the Saints. And then Adrian Peterson re-signed in the Skins for a reasonably decent contract, despite Darius Geis probably coming back. So feel free to throw out your thoughts there.
I'm here for Mike Davis. I think that's a sneaky signing. I don't think anybody's getting excited about it. I just think Mike Davis is such a well-rounded, solid running back that if he gets opportunity, he could be a nice little surprise for your team. He's probably a guy that's, really low on your bench or maybe even on some waiver wires. I've been a fan of his since he came out and got drafted by San Francisco years ago. So I think, there's been a lot of talk about Jordan Howard getting traded or cut. So I think this kind of points in that direction, that's what's going to happen. And I'm here for it.
I think for me, the guy that I get excited about is Crowder. I think if you just look at one of the only positive things we can say about Gase is in his offense, the slot receiver has a lot of opportunity, looking back to way Jarvis Landry function out of the slot there. I know the odds makers already put up his number at 700 receiving yards for the regular season. Yeah. I went over 700 receiving yards for him already. I'm pretty excited about Crowder. I think he's definitely a buy for me in that offense. I mean, I think they'll probably still add probably to the wide receiver room through the draft, but again, that's the one position on the Jets where I feel like, okay, there's a demonstrated history of, there's a pattern that we can sort of align with, and I think he's cheap enough still, even with the move, that he gets me excited.
Didn't they just extend Enunwa during the season last year?
Yes.
Yeah, they did.
It's just strange to me. Like, Enunwa's so well suited for the slot, and then all of a sudden Jermaine Kearse is getting a ton of slot reps. And I guess they don't see Enunwa as being a slot guy, but I just that one is confusing to me.
Mm-hmm.
And Kyle, I think I'm going to double up on your bet because you've been pretty hot with bets lately, to say the least.
Oh,
yeah.
Speaking
let's
of which,
double down on it.
Did we do that live on the Open Bar podcast last time? Was it on air or was that just off to the side?
Unknown.
Kyle gave me 4-1 odds that Antonio would leave Pittsburgh. I think it was inevitable, but I liked the odds, so I was going to take $4 for a $1 bet. So I owe Kyle $1. Damn it! I'm going to Venmo you during the podcast here, right?
Yeah, and send that 25% to my agent.
It's going to be 100 Venmos of a penny each.
Look forward to it.
Oh, jeez.
I got my plans for the
savagery. I've got big
anybody
hugs.
else?
Kyle's really into those penny auctions. So
there you go. Anybody else want to throw out some takes on some of those honorable mentions, or are we good to go to the next portion?
I'd like to just say, I'm sorry, J. Mike. I wasn't sure if you were going somewhere with your big hugs, as far as these guys. But I don't want to compliment any of the honorable mentions. I want to just say that the who's that wide receiver for the Bills that everyone's like was excited about for a little bit?
Robert Foster.
That Robert Foster guy. Yeah. Come on. How did y'all not think that something was going to happen in free agency? There's still an NFL draft ahead of us, and he was going for like second round picks at points. Just chill a little bit. Just chill a little bit and be patient. Like, I understand if you want to sell something, but if you really believe in that type of talent, like, you got to understand what's coming ahead. It boggles my mind to think that something wasn't going to happen in free agency or in the NFL.
I hope Derek Brown is not in the chat right now.
He's the wide receiver 4 or 5 now, or what? He's the 5th, 6th target. Frank Gore is going to get more targets than Robert Foster.
Ooh, hot take. Hot take.
Give me 4-1, Derek. D, bro.
You give me 4-1 odds on that one.
Yeah. Got a big chest.
Pop the teats.
Pop the teats.
Mr. Big
Tell me what you see. No, I want to pour one out for all the Darius Geis owners who thought Adrian Peterson was dead. Similar to Mike Myers, there's no killing him. So. And maybe Adrian Peterson takes a giant step back this year, which is obviously likely. But I'm just curious how that all works out up there. And also, shout out to the Jets for having functional wide receivers right now, like 3 actual pretty decent players, right?
Mm-hmm.
No more RJ. And I like
that, right?
Well, I mean, they're not trotting out Jermaine Kearse. They're not trotting out, any Devin Smith or whomever else, or Darius Stewart, whom I loved. I was big Darius Stewart.
I loved Darius Stewart.
But like they've got 3 competent guys out there now. Yeah, so
Jalen Marshall.
Yeah, Jalen Marshall. That's right.
So deep. That's pretty good. So that's the free agency talk. Let's move on to the most important part of the podcast, right, Gabe? This is the most important part of the podcast.
This is the most important part of the podcast.
Thank you. This is anybody else? This is the most important part of the podcast. Good. I'm glad we did that together.
The most important part of the pod.
One of us.
All at once.
Cast.
Keanu Reeves movie draft. Do we have to draw for random order here, Gabe? How does this go?
I think that's how J Mike does it, or maybe he just looks at the screens, who the thumbnails are, and he goes.
So looking at the actual YouTube
way.
video, actually the YouTube video feed, Mr. Franchise, numero uno, JP 102, I'm 103, Janderson 104, bringing up the rear ski, the lowest teat on the Teetum pole, Gabe 105.
Oh, I'm gonna record that soundbite and have it as my ringtone.
The Lotus teat on the Teetum pole.
Where'd you get that Teetum pole?
Pre-draft selection 101, the replacements.
Yes, thank you.
Wow.
Wow.
Are
you trying to buy more followers right now, Kyle? Jeez.
I'm gonna even take it.
I'm
going to take it a step further and say that the kicker in that movie is a top 10 villain in cinema history.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, okay. Hey,
That's
Kyle,
a hot
we're going to do
take,
some trivia.
y'all.
Kyle, you are excluded from this question, but if anybody can guess the name of Keanu Reeves' character without Googling it, gets $1 million from Gabe.
I'm in 4-1.
I already know that Kyle knows it.
Yeah, well, let's give him his nickname, Footsteps.
I have no idea.
Oh yeah,
I've never even seen the replacements.
You've never seen the replacements? Shut the pod down. I've had enough. Shut it down. Get this guy a Blu-ray.
Shut the hood. Shut the hood.
They said it. They said it in the chat. We've got answers in the chat.
Oh, what are the answers? Or what
I see you, Spoonie. Shane Falco.
Shane.
Footsteps Falco.
Yeah, Footsteps Falco. I guess I didn't know his first name was Shane, but there you go. That listener gets $1 million. Sign up for Venmo.
Hit me up on Venmo. Yep, I'll get you a penny a day for a while.
By the way, this podcast is sponsored by Venmo. Venmo. Sign up today. J Mike, am I up?
This is the sweet spot for the one John Paul Hurley.
I was legitimately nauseous. We've talked about doing a Keanu Reeves movie draft for about a week, and my favorite movie of all time is actually a Keanu Reeves movie, not because Keanu Reeves is in it, but just because it's a phenomenal movie. And I was about to vomit when Kyle was up first, and I had the second pick. I knew he was going to snipe me, and he went a different direction. So I get to choose The Matrix as the 102 best movie of all time. Best movie of all time.
Of all time.
Wow.
Are you telling me it can dodge bullets?
I'm so sick of people saying like Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson.
It's like everyone thinks they're the first person to say it to me too. I'm just
Maybe you shouldn't have said that, Jake. Like
that's fucking fantastic. Super original.
Just kind of holding the door open.
Did you think about that yourself? That's,
coincidentally, Neo's other nickname is also Footsteps in this movie. So it's all right, I'm done.
So 103, that's me. The Matrix is definitely the pick. I'm thankful to Kyle for taking the Trent Richardson there at 101. But several of these characters that I like a lot here. I low key want to go with Keanu's voice from the movie Keanu, but I'm not going to do that. I'm actually just going to go with Jack Traven, otherwise known as the main character from Speed, the 1994.
That's a great one.
Just nasty movie. Loved it.
Yeah, that was a favorite of mine, childhood favorite of mine.
Hi, Sandra Bullock. How you doing?
About to get blindsided.
Pop the hood.
Oh man, am I up? Am I on the clock?
It's you, sir.
You guys left me my 101. I'm so thankful for you guys.
No way. What is it?
Yeah, Point Break.
Oh,
good one.
Absolutely 101 for me.
Mm-hmm. Sandra Bullock also in that one.
Yeah.
How have they done so many movies together?
Oh, that's a great movie, man. Nice work.
Such a good movie.
It was that Patrick Swayze at his pinnacle too?
Yes, it was.
Okay, $1 million. I'm just going off memory. $1 million for whoever can guess. Outside of Jake, that was your guess, right? You can't do it. Who knows the Keanu Reeves character's name in that movie?
I already forgot what the movie was.
Speed Break.
No, it was Utah. Something Utah.
Agent Johnny Utah.
That's right.
He was a football player in that one too. He was a former football player. Mm-hmm. And then in the alternate universe, he went to the Replacements. So they're all kind of tied in together.
Oh, shit.
Jane Falco is Johnny Utah.
Yes.
And it's also Neo.
Kyle.
This summer's hottest movie.
Johnny Falco rises like a
Falco.
John Neo Falco.
Are we doing snake or rookie format?
Falco, Utah.
Ooh. If it's snake, then it's Gabe for the double dip here.
J Mike, you get to call the shots, man. You're calling the shots.
Snake, let's get it.
Snake it.
Really?
Double dip for you here, Gabe.
I'm gonna be a little nasty here, and I'm gonna speculate. Because we are predictors in this industry, right?
Matrix 4.
No. John Wick 3.
17.
Ooh.
Coming out. John Wick 27. John Wick 3. When's that coming out? Like June or July? I don't care. It's coming out, and it's going to be Keanu's best John Wick, and quite possibly better than The Matrix. So take that.
May 17th, 2019, John Wick 3 Parabellum. I don't even know if I said that right.
You did.
Wow.
You did.
You did.
And are you going to go like
it's going to be a
Wick
lituation. I know. I feel like that'd be soft AF. Shout out to Katie. Man, I wish
you guys, should we just say that sequels are pooled together with the originals? So
that's kind of. I think that's kind of it. Yeah,
it has to be.
So, man, I want to say one because it's just kind of
clear.
Nostalgic, but I have to go with Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
I wanted to say another one, and I hope someone else says it. We'll see what happens, but I really, Bill and Ted. That's the and excellent whatever, because we're grouping them, I suppose. But I was talking about the first, if anything. Bogus was fine, but like excellent, bro, excellent.
Whoa.
Jake Anderson with the 202.
Man,
he's nervous, palm sweaty.
I don't know if I've seen enough Keanu movies. The only thing I can think about, that I did like, I don't even know how good it is, but I would probably have to go with The Devil's Advocate. I thought that was a good
what
movie.
movie would that be then?
What's that?
The Devil's Advocate, the movie, or you're going to be the Devil's Advocate and choose something?
No, that was the answer.
Okay. Great movie.
I remember it being good. I don't know. I haven't seen it in, I don't know.
Quite good. I think Al Pacino was the devil, right?
Yes.
Yeah, great movie.
Haven't seen.
203. One that everybody's sleeping on here, which I'm incredibly glad it got back to me.
Hey, Mike. Come on.
And I'm sorry, and I'm sorry, Matt Foreman. I will not be choosing your choice here. I'm actually going to go with. No, he. No, I don't even want to say it. I'll say it at the end if nobody takes it. I'm actually going to go with. I'm going to go with Constantine.
Oh no, I got sniped.
That was up there for me too.
That's a good one. Yeah, I forgot about that.
That was up there. That was up there.
Hey, Mike, we got similar tastes in movies, man.
Let's go. I mean, I just paired Juju and OBJ together. This is gross. I'm excited.
Damn. Double damn it.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
Double damn it.
Double damn it.
JP with the 204. And he's nervous.
Now I'm in disarray now. How much time do we get on the clock?
We'll be here by tomorrow till tomorrow night, so take your time.
Kyle just texted your wife, so.
Oh yeah, he's knocking on the door. Man, that was fast. Love it.
He's like, hi, Miss Hurley.
again. Keanu Reeves. I'm gonna go. This is gonna date me a little bit. I'm an older guy, so I've seen some classics, and one of the classics I like is Keanu Reeves when he had the black shakes, I think it was, and it was during a movie called Johnny Mnemonic. Some of you might be confused exactly what that is, but I enjoyed it. It was kind of like a sci-fi.
Sure, I saw that.
Johnny Mnemonic.
I think it was the one where you could he was
yeah, I saw that.
He could store memory flash drives in his brain, and he was able to
like a superistic type of movie back in the day,
like
right?
a cyberpunk.
It was 95, so that wasn't too long.
Yeah, that's quite a while. It
wasn't too long ago.
I mean, Gabe wasn't alive.
I was alive, idiots.
Gabe was in diapers.
I went all sci-fi with my Keanu picks.
Is it possible that Keanu's movies are all connected? I mean, with mnemonic, that might be a Matrix relationship, and then to actually travel in the first place, the Utah versus the Falco. I mean, are we onto something here?
Whoa! Wow. We've just entered the parallel universe.
He was in a lot of chick flicks, though, too.
Those were the distraction.
To keep you from recognizing that Neo and Mnemonic are basically married together.
The Neo-mnemonic.
Let's go.
Uh-oh.
Whoa.
That was a Keanu Whoa ringtone. If anybody
I do love the woes from Keanu.
You can find that on Zedge. We're also sponsored by Zedge sound effects for your cell phones. Sign up for Zedge today.
You guys absolutely just killed my career average draft time. I mean, I've been on the clock for who knows how long now.
He's auto pick just entered, just waiting.
He's going for one of the. He's been on that chick flick for the lake house.
Hey, here's a question. Over. No, I need clarification. Is this a dual? Is this a 2-copy league? Can I go replacements again, or would that be bad taste?
No,
okay.
No,
well, then
easy way out.
I'll fittingly
draft.
I'll fittingly transition us out. I haven't seen either of these movies, but they're just too perfect. Something's got to give, or Much Ado About Nothing.
Wow.
I know the first one. I'm gonna have to find.
I'm pretty sure Something's Got to Give was not an awful movie, but I think he slept with what's her face.
Wow, Sandra Bullock.
No.
Oh.
Wow.
Diane Keaton.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Papa Diane Keaton.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
Wow.
Wrong character.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
Real quick, can we give a couple
about
of,
nothing? Don John. Oh, okay.
Can we give a couple of honorable mentions?
Yeah, I want to do that, J Mike, because I almost go ahead.
In the chat shouted this out. Aaron, obviously DAB, 47 Ronin.
Solid.
I saw that.
Whoa.
Solid movie.
Solid.
We also had Hardball, which was
that's the one.
Yeah,
that is the one.
Right one.
Yo.
Falco.
Oh my God, that's the one.
The soundtrack though, with all the Lil Zane and Lil Sammy and
dude.
That was
if
fun.
I see that scene one more time, and I'm not even gonna say it in case some of y'all haven't seen it. Okay. Ooh.
Oh, and real quick before we continue with those honorable mentions, in the chat, Aaron also hit us with this: Keanu Reeves as John Wick, John Constantine, John Mnemonic, Johnny Utah, Don John, John Fenton, and John Rain.
See?
OMG.
See? We're on to something here. Thank you. Who is that? Aaron again? Aaron, you are a Keanu savant, bro.
That deserves a whoa.
He's been waiting for this moment forever.
This moment.
Whoa.
Any other honorable mentions before we move it on?
Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh, whoa.
Yep.
I thought that was
pretty good, guys.
Did anyone say the replacements yet?
Nope. Undrafted free.
3FA.
3-copy league.
Fair.
You can probably get them for a $0 bid, though.
Yeah.
Are you guys good? This is good. Good spot to stop. I think we did good.
This is perfect.
All right, you guys, that's all she wrote for this week's DTC Open Bar podcast. Thank you for joining us. If you've got any Keanu Reeves movies that we missed, please tweet them at us. I can be found at FF Hercules. Everybody, just give us your Twitter handles really quick. Gabe, you can go next.
FF Man Bun and the Open Bar FP. I almost did it backwards, but that's the podcast. I'll pass it over to J Mike Check.
On Twitter at JMikeCheck, at JMIC Check, Mr. Franchise.
At Franchise KF, at Franchise AF, at Franchise BF, on all the way down through ZF, all burners.
Keanu fan.
Wow.
Well played.
We got Jake. Where's Jake?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Jake Anderson FF.
Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson. You got to say it with like a smirk, like you're.
Yep. What good is the mouth if you cannot speak?
Like you're clever.
Pause.
There you go. That's all we got for this week, you guys. Can we try to do a simultaneous whoa together at the count of 3 here to finish things off? 1, 2, 3. Whoa.
Whoa.
All right. Check you guys later.